run against this group of guys is as tough as it gets, period. And even if you got to IndyCar or NASCAR, I think that you're going to get the same level of competition. It's really deep, and you got to fight for every inch. And just like racing is supposed to be, you got to fight your way in. So sprint week makes you fight especially hard. Got a cowboy up here.
Indiana Sprint Week, the way I look at it, it's not, it is an individual race-by-race night, but this thing is kind of taking on a heartbeat of its own with all the traveling fans and the campers and all the teams. It's an ultra-competitive week, tension's high and everything else, but that's what makes it so great.
You can't get too up and you can't get too down throughout the week. You just got to put your nose down and keep digging every night and make the best of each night, whether that's taking a 10th place car and running 7th with it or winning. It's just a matter of maximizing each night.
Indiana Sprint Week. Those words alone invoke powerful emotions of passion that reaches from each of USAC's sprint car superheroes all the way to the common race fan. It makes no difference who you are. When Sprint Week looms, it consumes every waking hour. For the race fan, the workplace is just a distraction, keeping them away as sprint cars rim ride around a quarter mile of neurons inside the mind. When the bell rings at the conclusion of a long, arduous workday, July instantly becomes Christmas morning. Although in Sprint Week, snowflakes transform into a blizzard of moisturous clay, while the ultimate present is unwrapped to find a sprint car being pushed off for the first heat race. A constant succession of stacked grandstands greet stacked fields for 7 races and 9 nights. It's a journey that can turn hair gray, yet create legends out of mere mortals. It can divert a season's path to one of joyous jubilation, or to a fate of frustration. Yet ultimately, it can make the person who's seen everything feel like a kid again. It makes no difference who you are. The moment has drawn near. For the 30th year, Indiana Sprint Week has arrived. Welcome to USAC Weekly Warmup, presented by AMSOIL, the first in synthetics. Entering its 3rd decade, Indiana Sprint Week, presented by Camping World, has become a timeless tradition, one that's seen countless breakthrough performances, such as last year when Kyle Cummins, Brett Beauchamp, Carson Short, and Tyler Courtney all raced to their first USAC AMSOIL National Sprint Car victories. Courtney's particularly stands out due to his stick-to-itiveness, following a lap 1 spin in the 2016 Sprint Week opener at Gas City. After restarting from the tail, few could have foreseen the comeback for the ages that Sunshine demonstrated throughout the next 30 laps, passing at least 1 car per lap before ultimately driving by Brian Clausen on the bottom for the victory with 8 laps to go. Courtney was in position to win the title with 2 races remaining, until a massive Bloomington crack-up dashed his hopes and dreams for the ultimate Sprint Week glory. Meanwhile, Brady Bacon was racking up a string of consistent finishes on a nightly basis that netted him his first Indiana Sprint Week title, the 9th to do so, without a single win in the history of the mini-series. This year, however, he's at the wheel of the dueling Hayward Motorsports number 63, which Clausen raced to his 41st and final victory at Lawrenceburg Sprint Week race 1 year ago. Bacon's championship ride from last year is occupied by Hanford, California's Chad Baselude. Despite a run of big-time wins last season, an Indiana Sprint Week triumph was not among them, although his first career USAC win back in 2013 came at a Sprint Week staple, Lincoln Park Speedway in Putnamville, Indiana. The Hoffman number 69 has seen its share of success in Indiana Sprint Week with 12 wins and 2 titles between Dave Darland in 1998 and Bacon in 2016. A pair of Indiana Sprint Week champions are eager to end their respective droughts. Astonishingly, Chris Windham of Canton, Illinois hasn't won an Indiana Sprint Week race since Terre Haute's Don Smith Classic that same summer 6 years back. Rockland, California's Robert Ballou was the 2015 titleist, but did so absent a victory. But it was a single week in 2014 after multiple wins at Putnamville and Hofstadt that turned Ballou's career around. He arrived at Putnamville for Sprint Week 3 years ago, with 5 wins in an 8-year span. In the 2.5 years since, he's tallied 22 USAC national wins and a national title. Point leader Justin Grant is the only driver to win USAC sprint races in 4 different states this season, but his last Indiana Sprint Week win came in 2012 at Lawrenceburg. Coleman, Alabama's Kevin Thomas Jr. is one of just 3 drivers to win 3 Sprint Week features in a row and is the last to do so back in 2013. The 2 winningest Indiana Sprint Week drivers of all time, 3-time champ Dave Darlin and twice a champion John Stanbro, have been neck and neck in terms of total series victories for quite some time. The 2 have been mainstays atop the results for many a year, with Darlin's first Sprint Week win coming back in 1990 and Stanbro's in 1996. The connection between the 2 holds true today, with each of their most recent Sprint Week wins coming one night apart from each other in 2014. Stanbro took his 16th on opening night at Gas City, while Darlin snagged Kokomo the following night for the 18th time. Hoosier hotshots Brady Short and Chase Stockin aim to once again protect their home turf as they did last year at Putnamville and Terre Haute, respectively. USAC champions Brody Roa and Ryan Bernal intend to carry the flame for the West Coast, continuing a tradition of Californians who have made the 30-plus hour Midwest migration for a couple of weeks during the summer to take on the best of USAC's national contingent. Corey Kruzman, Kerry Foz, and Damian Gardner are among the few who have conquered the West, then thrived in Indiana Sprint Week as race winners. Reigning West Coast Sprint champ Brody Roa made his initial foray to Sprint Week back in 2014, while Bernal, the 2013 and 2014 Western Classic Sprint champion, makes his first trip back since 2013. For some, Indiana Sprint Week can be a pocket full of sunshine and a racer's delight. For others, it can prove to be a walk on hot coals scattered atop a bed of nails. Racers go to challenge themselves against the best of the best night after night to prove themselves on this racing carousel. Where each lands at the end of the week is up to the preparation and perhaps a bit of good fortune. The stakes are immense and the action intense. Sleep is secondary from the moment the engines fire at Gas City to the final flag drops at Hopstadt. And you know what? We wouldn't have it any other way. This is Indiana Sprint Week 2017.